Yay!
By all means, please call me.
They talked to the thing
Oh.
about sharing.
That is
Starting
the
my
wrong thing.
Oh, damn, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty full on.
Okay.
Hey, that's better.
If you
Hey.
guys use Facebook or any kind of social media, it would help us so much if you could find the link and click share.
Please call me.
I will.
By sharing that
Let's talk
link,
about some things. I'm sure
you will keep the Rumble House
I'm
alive.
not good at choosing things, so
we'll sort it
I'll
out.
just send you the list and you can pick.
It's gonna be all right.
Okay. So we are live on YouTube and Facebook. So what I'm doing currently is finding the live feed, and I'm going
And
to make
sharing it?
sure, and then I'm going to share it. You're totally
Sharing is
correct. So there's me. I am clicking it.
Okay.
Ha! Puppy and Scott.
Oh, and Scott.
Scott, I'm going to tell you a story. I walked into Value Village one day. I found this 1977 British red motorcycle racing jacket. It was $9. Now I'd saved up for 3 years to buy this $300 jacket. It was on sale from $600 jacket. My brain would not process that I found the coolest jacket in the world for $9 after I'd spent, 6 years saving and 3 years waiting for this jacket to come down in price. And so I tried on the $9 jacket. My sanity depended on it not fitting. It was made for me and me alone. So I bought this $9 jacket. It's the only thing I ever bought secondhand that I never thought about washing or worried about germs. I bought it and it became my skin. I eventually had to get rid of the jacket. And I felt this moment where you're like, oh, and the dog and Scott. Like, I realized that this jacket was so uber cool that when people met me in the jacket, they were disappointed when they met me without the jacket.
Oh no.
It's like there's a jacket. Oh, and
Here
Rich.
comes Rich in his jacket. Hey, Rich, we're having a party on Friday. Wear your jacket. But I actually stopped wearing the jacket because it became the more likable side of me.
Cool. Like a
Upstaged
rich.
by a jacket.
Actually, it would fit you perfectly, Scott.
Oh,
Charlie.
Okay. So, first of all, welcome everyone.
No, welcome, Jesse.
Thank you so much for coming down, and thank you everyone for
Hey,
sharing.
Thank you for coming
on-
down.
Thank you for sharing the feed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
First of all, Felix, do you want to show your artwork?
Yeah, before you
Okay.
get taken away.
So Felix
Can we also
was
celebrate something?
Of course.
It's 10 years we've been doing this.
Holy.
And for 10 years since like
11 and a little bit.
3 months before.
It's 9 years that we got this space in October.
Yeah. But it's the first time that Felix has joined us and will be joining us on Wednesday nights during the school year. So it's the emancipation of a grade 6.
I did it.
Yay!
Yay!
Freedom!
It wasn't easy.
My love, I have a question. Would you be able to tip it so it's not so much like because now that I'm standing, I'm not sitting on the thing.
Well, I see what you're saying.
Well, it's just so my like forehead isn't
It's like
all people see.
upskirt.com.
No, it's like forehead skirt. No, forehead skirt. Okay.
Is that right? Is that the right?
Yes, that is
yeah, that's good.
awesome.
Foreheadlive.com.
Okay, guess what? Feel it.
And we
wait.
also have Colin to thank because Colin.
Colin!
Let Felix can come on Wednesday night.
Okay, so quick before Felix has to get spirited away. Guess what?
I'm
The
gonna go turn
other,
off.
the other, yeah, go turn that off. The other night, Felix, that you painted, the owner is in the room. So the owner might even want to have a diptych of nights in his house, but no pressure. Diptych.
That.
It means two paintings as a pair.
Somewhere else.
We were talking about sword fights earlier. It's okay.
Listen here,
This-
diptych.
This is by shut up here. This is by Felix. Would you
I
like
got
to?
the best seat in the house.
Would you?
Actually,
you-
you've got the best seat in the house.
Would you like to talk about your piece, Felix?
It's the other night that has a sword. I'm testing for.
That's okay. I can hear people are sharing, and I appreciate it.
I
So
did.
awesome. So what's your opening bid, my dear?
$5.
$5. So it's $5 for this. Oh, do you
I'll
want to
bid
show people?
$5.
Rich, oh, careful. Your buffaloes. Buffalo.
It's a little damp, so if you can
Yeah.
put it somewhere sort of flat, that'd be
I'm
great.
just gonna move it here.
I don't know if that's better.
I think it is because then there's a pathway.
Get it. I'll trade you a dog.
Oh. The dog's like, hey.
Who's trying to get out now?
So is
I
it
might
cur-
have shared the wrong one.
is it currently at $5 to Rich? We got $5.
That's a dad bid.
Dad bid. So we are
Dad
also
bid.
if you would like to bid from home, text 403-629-7424.
403-629-7424. 403-629-7424. Well, now for a free set of steak knives.
And would you like to show
Free set
wow?
of steak knives?
We did it twice.
We had to go out and buy steak
We didn't
knives.
really know Kelly yet, and she called in for the free set of steak knives. We didn't know how to tell her no. I was like, I would just shoot my mouth off. So we asked, Galen brought us the knives.
Well,
Wow.
if that's the case,
Or mom.
Okay, or mom. What's your opening bid for this piece?
Hey, Galen, how much are the pizzas you bring in?
I don't know.
Just guess, like a $10 or
Wow, mom.
Wow,
15
mom.
bucks?
What's your opening bid
Mom,
for
and
this?
there's been
one?
500 rumbles that you
$1.
brought pizzas
$1.
in?
Wow, mom.
So
Don't tell anybody.
Felix's Wow Mom is opening at $1.
Yeah, but you know
Mom.
what? Anybody in this room could buy that right
And-
now
and
have
give
it
it.
for a few months
Yeah.
and then gift it for
Yeah,
Mother's Day.
enjoy it for yourself for a while.
That's actually what Jess and I do is we buy work
We
all throughout the
stockpile.
year, hang it, and then at Christmas we just everything's
What
covered.
made you decide
I have
write
to start
the word
doing that.
wow?
I have so much art.
What made you decide to write the word wow? Just like
Problem
that.
is partying with me. Yeah.
He's living it. He is the
Difficult.
living embodiment of wow. That kid.
So
Like 3 paintings I can't pick up today. So I've been coming on my
Ooh,
motorcycle.
can I just
Oh,
interrupt
I'm
to say
ready.
something wonderful about my son? I know Sky, you've read my book, right?
Multiple times.
Do you know the part where
All of
there's a
them.
kid and his grandmother dies?
Yes.
So my grandmother was 103, and in
Oh.
August she passed. It means I'm middle aged, and we drove out to Bonnyville. Felix is in the back, doesn't say a peep. We go and we do the funeral. I didn't realize that they were expecting me to show up even, and they were expecting me to be a pallbearer and all kinds of things. And as we got back into the car, he just starts reciting the entire chapter by memory of the experience where in the book, it's a teacher talking to a young man who just lost his grandmother. But in real life, it was my 10-year-old son reading me and the whole book memorized. It was unbelievable and magic.
Well, I guess I've been one up. I have to memorize the whole book now. Memorize all
Let
the
me
books
also
now.
say I recorded the audiobook. I'm not a good reader. Like I'm actually good at interpreting reading. I stumble my words and I slur my words. I'm not clear. I would have done anything to not read the audiobook. Lori thought that the author should read it. I hired Michael Roik to come in and try it out. He read it 95% perfect on his first read through. He wanted to perfect that last 5%. So he asked me like, oh, what should I do here? What should I do there? And he was asking me great questions. But what I realized was that he wanted to do such a great job. I would have ended up doing the entire book with him anyways. Yeah. And so after he spent an hour with me recording, I asked him permission. I said, could I treat that hour like coaching and pay you? So I paid him my entire budget for reading the book just for coaching. And I spent an entire month reading a book on audio that took me 2 weeks to write. And I got through the whole thing. I sort of felt like by the end, I got a lot better than I was at the beginning. I sent it to Lori. Lori's like, I love the performance. Sound quality is not good enough for audible.com. I was thrilled to read it a second time. And this little runt was in the room the entire time and managed to memorize the book before I could read it without a mistake. And so it's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Also, it was like 40 degrees every day that summer. And there's a huge buzz in this space. And our apartment's quite loud. So I ended up building a, what did you stay in when you went to camp?
You're
I built myself a yurt in the
My favorite
apartment
word.
out of out of sleeping bags, and it was about the size of that phone booth, covered in sleeping bags. It was about 52 degrees. And I was sure I was going to electrocute myself from the sweat that's like piling off of me.
You should have got a few fans.
I know, right? Well, no, because I needed it
Oh,
silent.
silent.
I do have a
Yeah.
question for you.
No, I mean in
You
between.
can tell me to like leave if you want, but
Okay.
the part in your book where it's the monkey is telling you to move, is that inspired by Robert Louis Stevenson?
Oh, interesting.
It was,
Charles Webb.
no.
Was it Charles Webb?
Is there a
No,
part?
Stevenson was Treasure Island.
Yeah,
was
that's
it?
the one.
Treasure
Trevor,
Island. Yeah.
Trevor Island.
Like
Treasure
Ben?
Island.
Trevor Island. Oh,
Was
I
this
would not want to go
was it
there.
related to Ben Gunn? Because Ben Gunn's my alter ego.
Because I was listening to a podcast and I heard a quote and I thought immediately of it, and
Interesting.
I'll read you the quote. Oh no, where did it go? Okay, here we are.
But
My-
I'd be thrilled to find out I was on the same page as Robert Louis
Louis
Stevenson.
He also wrote Jekyll and Hyde.
Okay, that's what. Yeah.
For my part, I travel not to go anywhere, but to go. I travel for travel's sake. The great affair is to move, to feel the needs and hitches of our life more nearly, to come down off this feather bed of civilization and find the globe granite underfoot and strewn with cutting flints.
That's
That's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Sky, why would you ever apologize before adding something like that? You're like, kick me out if you want. Like, that's beautiful.
I did kick someone out that one time.
It wasn't because of that.
It was no, that was beautiful.
Like,
There was a young man in here. I won't say his name out of respect. We'll call him Bob. But let's just say Bob bought my first poetry book, and we were
Oh,
just
that was
talking
funny.
about
Yeah.
something. And we weren't fighting, but we had a slight debate. And then Bob took a line out of one of my poems
he misrepresented.
and threw it in my face.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a twisted
Yeah.
analogy, and I didn't like actually throw him out, but I was so livid that he would take my own words and twist them out of context. To try
And
win
he
an argument.
also just does that because that's like his style.
His
Is
sport,
he?
yeah.
Yeah. So we also sell artwork here. We
Do we?
do we?
We don't only
I
kick
heard that
people
quote
out.
and I thought
Is
it was
Colin
monkey.
still here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where are you, Colin?
Okay.
Are we gonna get in trouble if you're late?
Well, okay. So last chance to buy Felix's work.
$6.
$6 to Scott.
No, $6.90.
$6.90 to Scott.
Nice.
$10.
$10 to Chassia. So here we go.
Colin said $20. No take backs.
No take back.
Did I just call you Chassia? Oh, she got the money already. Here, $10 going once. $10. Is anyone going to bid against? $10 going twice. $10 sold. Here, do you want to give it right to her? There you go. Usually we do a 10-minute leg, but this is special.
The money is in hand at the moment.
Yeah. Wow. Look, she just said, wow. Oh, here. Do you have, here's a Sharpie.
Yeah.
Here, Felix, do you want to
You
sign
know,
the
and
back?
something else I might point
I
out.
like that.
That's
Nice.
Where on the
Not long ago, one of our
So now I have the other night.
not long ago, one of our patrons was having a conversation and very gently asked, would it be okay if they adapted the ratio split between the gallery, because it's usually 50-50. And the offer I often make is you can take the normal 50-50, or you can have the family split, but you have to really, earn it to get the family split, because Jess, Rich, and Felix work here full time. We do have a different ratio for our portion of the sales. And if anybody ever wants to take us up on that, for the last 10 years, I've sold over 1,500 paintings at 0% profit. In fact, I'd be willing to double my portion. If you want to take my ratio, you can have 1,000 times what I make. But
I forgot about this.
thank you. Felix has donated every penny. He's never even asked for the money. Felix and Oliver and Jess and Rich, we
Sometimes he
donated.
buys art with his money.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I got to go talk to Colin because I'm so grateful.
No worries. So the next up, and you know what's super cute? Another tie-in. Leanne's watching from home, and how we said now sign it. We're doing a thing at school about the dot book, And it's like everyone can make art, and it's like this kid like stabbed his paper, and the teacher goes, "That's awesome! Now sign it." And the idea of like everything's like everything can be art if you want it to be. If you're like, so this is by Gianluca, a beautiful drawing, pencil on paper.
Robots.
So
Robots having a talk.
it's just the robots chatting.
Is it-
Oh, they feel beautiful,
Let
isn't
me
it? So you need to see this one up close for sure. Do you want to
they're
pass it
having a
around?
They're having a deep chat.
They're having an existential crisis.
It's opening.
Yeah, he would agree. That's
Did
my
you say
son.
what, right?
I think he said
10,
right?
10. Opening
I
bid
like the
10.
1 and the 0.
So
If I were
sweet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right.
pass it around.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
So sweet.
Introspective he is.
Here.
He's got into architecture, so he's doing design studies right now.
And Sandra has been here helping so much lately. It's so amazing. And she's been doing lots of different kinds of art always. Sandra! This is by Sandra. So this is clay and gold leafing. And this is opening at 5, these earrings.
Bid.
Bid,
Bid.
$5 to Sky.
Bid to me.
Bid to Sky, $5 to Sky. And I love this camera. It's a product camera and it just zooms in beautifully. And look at this. So it is like a high-class shrinky dink.
Are you gonna bring
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna. It is a Luna moth
Luna moth, that's the one.
with the beautiful tails, and it's on beautiful beads and a necklace. So this is opening at 10. So we can pass.
I'll bid
these
20 on
around.
the earring.
So Sky bid 20 on the earrings.
They look like snowmans.
So you can pass them around.
I don't think I shared the link properly, so I'm just trying to get caught
That's
up on
okay. You're doing good, my love.
it. Do you need to charge your phone?
No, it's good.
Okay. Were there any bids?
I don't know.
The earrings are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Also wanna get a Luna moth.
So the earrings are open are at $20, and the moth is opening at 10. So we're gonna let people have some time to bid on those.
Gold leaf.
Yeah.
Gold
There's
leafers.
leaf.
fun there. I made it.
Do you want to see it though?
There's gold ink.
Hilda can see. Yeah, we'll pass them
And
around.
like pastel, chalk pastel.
So
Yeah, I know. We
Shrinking inks from like the
Who's gonna get
80s, you
these?
know? It's like it. I think
Really?
And then that's
Me
clay
too, that's why I said
with gold
that's
leaf in it and on it.
I know exactly who's gonna get these.
Who?
One of
And
my
look,
friends.
look, read the back.
EU.
Tiefel.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Is it correct that we have how many people we have online?
9,
That's
10.
awesome.
10.
Okay, good.
So, I hope I'm not going too fast if I keep showing things. This is a
You're not
watercolor
going too fast.
that I did from the summer.
Everything you do is perfect.
So I was working on these beautiful circular watercolor papers and just female figures in different forms. So we were talking about chakras earlier, and the red and green is just flowing through here, and that idea of the breath. So I was talking with Hilda about this earlier, and I really liked that idea of just like the blood flow and the calm and the breathing.
And the golden color around us is constant seeing.
Totally.
Jazz,
That's
Missy's on.
Missy, hi Missy. So opening is 5 for my watercolor. 5 to Elisa.
I have it.
Can you spell your name?
What's happening?
PL?
Yeah.
Oh, you're perfect.
SA.
Just so many ways. to
10.
say
There's a
it.
good jillion.
Yeah.
10.
15.
Which one is it?
Missy says hi. Hi,
Hi, Missy. Hi, Missy.
That's my sister in Vancouver.
Is Missy a little bit sassy?
Missy.
Well, it's funny that you say that because my name is Sandra, but it used to be called Sandy.
Yeah.
But Missy couldn't say Sandy. She's 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So she couldn't say Sandy when she was born. So she called me Sassy.
Did it affect how you grew up?
Well, I didn't really know at 10 what it meant,
Okay.
but everybody still called me Sassy. And then I figured
Sassy.
out what it meant. And it's a little bit me. So my family members still call me Sass or Sassy sometimes. So
I call my stepdaughter
Yeah.
Sassafras.
sassafras.
Oh.
My mom calls me that too.
That's so sweet.
So yeah, that was Missy's name.
Because I had a little plaque that said bravery, that Richard meant bravery. And I always felt an obligation to be brave because of my name.
Oh, that's awesome. Jess, would you show after that Lucas again so she can?
Oh my gosh, yeah, of course. So should we do a bit of a recap of what things after Felix? What did, because I kind of started putting stuff up very fast.
Who got Felix?
I was trying to. Well, I didn't know if the WoW got anything. 'Cause
No, I think WoW.
They have big feelings.
I think WoW is unbid yet. So if anyone wants WoW or Mom, it's opening
It
at
actually was
$1.
Mom, wasn't it?
No, it was WoW.
Oh, it was,
Yes.
wasn't it?
And
Scott.
is these cute little robots.
I'm not sure if they're here.
So this is by Gianluca. And is there a bid on this lovely
No,
piece?
it was 'cause it got lost. So $10 was the start.
$10 opening bid for these very beautiful robots. It's a very intense, intimate
I'll
little
bid
piece. $10 to Rich. So, and also we have a paper cutter. We can cut off this so you can have.
Or Missy.
Missy.
There you go. And
Is Richard with us? Richard from Illinois?
the earrings
I don't know
are
where
at
I-
20.
Is Richard
Right?
with us online?
I'm not sure.
Lately, Richard from Illinois, I think, has been watching the live feed after it's live,
So
which
these
is really sweet because I think we generally get around 100 to 200 views an evening while we're going. And then by the end of the week, it's sometimes up to 400 or 500, which means more people are watching the event after it's over than while it's on, which is pretty sweet because we forget about the good we do. And a lot of times it's not always about selling things. It's a little bit like sometimes people just put them on so they have. So is that something I need to worry about? Oh, it's just a car.
so
Sometimes stuff
The
stops outside. So you have
earrings
to deal with.
are at $20, and this beautiful necklace with the Luna moth is opening at 10.
Golden light of the soul. Golden light of the soul. The mountain.
Oh. So here we go. And yeah, we're talking. It's a really good autumn. I like the moons in it because it's a Luna moth. All the little moons. Beautiful autumn colors. Okay. And
Also,
my watercolor is. I'm so sorry. Is it
Somebody had
15?
said it was at 15 to Elisa right now.
15 to Lisa. Okay.
such a beautiful poem.
There we go.
20.
20.
25.
25.
It's so pretty.
30.
Do we hear 35?
35.
Thanks, Edgy. Do we hear 35?
It's nice having bids in the room.
Yeah.
Been online bids for a bit.
So it's currently, is it currently at 30?
35.
30,
It was 35.
35.
She said.
35.
40.
To you?
40?
To
Oh.
Elisa now 35?
You show.
I can't.
What is happening?
50.
Oh,
$50. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it at home, the gold. Okay. Also, I'm holding. So I'm gonna.
Bad.
So maybe should I say going, because we have lots of artwork. So I'm gonna go going once, going twice, going 3 times, and you guys will have 10-minute like. We always do that for people with bad internet at home. So here we go. So you have 10 minutes. Look at this beautiful object I'm holding in my hand. It's by Patty. There is a cute little garden gnome on this side. Do you want to talk? Is there any stories behind the creatures?
There's a fairy circle in my front yard.
So there's a
But I wanted to make
beautiful,
rocks for them.
beautiful little
Hey,
fairy on the other
On a side note,
What's
Jesse.
your opening bid for that?
Sorry,
Oh,
my bad.
$10.
Isn't it
That's
beautiful?
gorgeous.
Oh,
I'm Patty.
so this is by Patty.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So opening is $10. So if you have a fairy ring in your garden, it's opening 10. So it's a two-sided.
Two-sided?
Yeah.
Or just worse as a paper.
Or it does work.
Or a throwing rock.
Eat my fairy rock. She'd be like, it's so beautiful. There's like blood. I'm like, it's so beautiful. Okay.
So pretty.
So this, if you were watching earlier, Dusty works on weavings out of her home studio. She's also an acrylic and oil painter. But recently, she has been dyeing fabrics. So the random print on this is made from iron and tannins, and then the random print though is from magnets. So she magneted them together, but then do you see how in some places magnets do what magnets do, and they clumped when she went to put it in the pot? And then so there's some that are further apart and some that are closer because the magnets all clumped when she went to put them in the solution.
I'm about 90% sure that Sky's dying to tell you something.
I
Sky!
have a question.
Yeah.
But it's not red.
Okay. The tannins, I think, changed the color. So
Because you said iron.
she was working on Dusty, please correct me and let me know what I'm doing if I'm doing it wrong. But so she was working on gray dyes, and this ended up really beautifully purpley and kind of red. Sky, look closer around the white, because I think it does kind of red enough closer to the white. Can you see kind of? Yeah. So so opening, I wanted to show Elisa this one. Do you,
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's the one I like.
I know.
Fell in love with.
That's the one I like.
So so Dusty's scarf is opening at 40. This is by Bronwyn. So
Was that donated back?
yeah.
Okay.
So this was a donated back piece by Kathleen Moore donated it back. And this is by Bronwyn Schuster. So Bronwyn has painted with us. I've bought some of her pieces. She's a pretty well established artist in Calgary, but she's working out of Vancouver. And Kathleen bought this piece as a studio piece, a very substantial piece to support Bronwyn when going to Emily Carr. So Kathleen brought this back with all of the love in her heart, and she's moving and downsizing, so she couldn't bring it with her. And I just keep staring at it here, and we just keep worshiping it. So if this is, I don't know, like it was donated back to the house, and it is on a very substantial, beautiful. So I keep holding it like this, but look, it's strung with a beautiful wire to be like this. So just really stunning piece. And you can kind of see the shimmers of the water. Yeah. Oh yeah, the koi there's the metallic. So this one I don't even know because it was donated back. So if anyone has anything that they like want to bid on, because at the same time we don't have space, but it's so beautiful and I want to honor everybody. And Kathleen honors us by donating it here, and Bronwyn honors us by just existing, and we honor you by being here and part of the space. Yeah, that's my spiel. What do you think?
So this was donated back?
Yeah.
And you didn't want to put it in the auction because
Well-
you want to keep it?
No, no. I do want to put it in the auction. I've been putting all the pieces in.
No, it's not. I didn't mean to throw you
Yeah.
under the bus
no,
that
no,
way.
no.
But I think
What do you
I will
think?
start the bidding at $50.
$50.
No, I said 50.
$70.
Okay, fine.
Damn, there was my 69.
Yes.
So
I really like the texture of it.
It's so beautiful.
No one's gonna want to show after that one.
No, it's beautiful. So this one is at 70.
I think so.
Is it 70?
What did I say?
Oh, yeah.
What did I say?
70.
Well, I was gonna start it at 50, and then I got.
Yeah, it's on
Bulbos.
her really beautiful frame. It's the wires already on it.
I have to hang my art.
It's a good one though.
It's a solid piece.
it's all wood.
Yeah,
It really
it
is
is solid.
It's really. I think because of the water, you have a sense that you would put the maiden up upright, but she could go in any orientation, and I think that's pretty fun. I think pieces that you can rotate
Mhm.
and they still make sense. Are they sirens?
It looks like siren.
Are they
There's
floating
sirens in the
fish, or are they?
background.
Yeah, depending on how you hang it, it tells a different story. Because if it's upright, you feel like they might be ascending, and if it's downwards, they might be descending, and if it's sideways, you feel like they might be looping.
Or like
Yeah,
you
in a
might be
river.
looking down on them, right? Yeah.
In a river is sideways.
Yeah.
And the composition is so fantastic.
Oh.
If you're in a jam at Christmas, you could probably cut it into 3 paintings. I'm just kidding. I'm totally
Don't
kidding.
do it. It could be also. From
I meant that as a
underneath.
compliment to the
Oh yeah. Bronwyn
omnipresent
is
composition.
yeah. Bronwyn's a fabulous painter.
Okay, what's the bid at?
It is currently at $70.
$70 going once, $70 going twice, $70 going 3 times, and there's a 10-minute lag. Do you have the time, anybody? What are we at? 9:35.
All right. Well, actually, so Alvin had to show up earlier this month or last month. I can't remember. Oh yeah, can you hear? Are there things happening? Hey, money.
You have this pocket. That's your job. I'm not trustworthy.
We have to
'cause I
put
date
that
you.
money away. Well, you should. Well,
Answer for that.
okay. I'm gonna leave that there. So this is by Alvin. So Alvin is opening this at 30, and Alvin is magic for all the little things that you will forever be finding in his paintings. I'm gonna bid 30 for this one just because I love it so much. The cow getting sucked up into the spaceship.
Can I see?
Yeah.
Can I see?
So I'm teaching perspective to my grade 8s.
Yeah.
Perspective
And-
owl.
Perspective yeah. And every time I do 1 point perspective, someone for some reason, because it's like a big open space with everything, they drop. Is
I was
Sky?
gonna buy a poncho yesterday.
Oh, Sky. Yeah, you're channeling what Rich wanted to wear. So, so this
Full of
is
cowboy.
They were selling ponchos from.
Good, bad, and ugly.
Is that the one?
I think so.
And I was like, how come I can't pull this off? And just like, because you can't pull that off. And I think what you meant was.
I wasn't that abrupt.
It wasn't.
No, but like,
No, no, we're a jacket.
It
can I
wasn't.
just tell you, like, farming equipment looks too appropriate on me. And, I grew up, I'd always wear a baseball cap, maybe a trucker cap, and I thought I looked, kind of like I was from Seattle or something. But then I hit a certain age, it's just Alberta wheat farm. Like,
Well, if you can't pull it off, then why aren't you wearing it right now?
yeah.
Put it on.
No, I haven't put it on yet.
And this one's opening at 20.
You bought that one?
This one's currently at $30.
$30
I
to
want to see it
Jessica.
closer.
Oh,
So
sorry.
is that the mate to the one that I stole from you, Richard?
Huh?
That one?
No.
He does?
No.
So it's not.
Are we
so
selling
much
one of
made-
these tonight? Is that why this is here?
Oh, you were talking about the audiobook, and I wanted to show that it's on vinyl because it's
Oh,
so cool.
I'll buy another one just to keep it out of people's hands.
Do you have a?
Just
do you-
to take it.
the question being, do you have a record player?
You gave me one, Rich.
Oh yeah.
So it's 4 sides, double album.
Wait, do we still have some? This
Oh
is
yeah,
not-
there's 3
okay.
here.
Is that one?
So That's a
I
new.
have
That's
the
the
original
second
one.
pressing. Yeah. So we have a first pressing and the second pressing.
We also have a bitchin' letter from the
that one's so good.
the place that makes vinyl records. It went like this, and we
Yeah, please.
framed
Can
it.
you
It said,
them and
Okay, I'll take
show
them
them? Okay.
"Dear Jessica Teru, in a world filled with the digital media, what you have done here by putting a book analog on vinyl is something really special. And in our studio, we have a phrase for it. So fucking cool." And then, so it's just on this little note, but we framed it. We have it up on our awards that we got the So Fucking Cool award from the record company.
And you have my book award that I gave you.
Yeah.
I do. I still have it in my desk.
Yay!
I keep picking up all these things. Okay. So Patty painted the beautiful rock.
You were just showing this tonight? We're not selling it.
I just wanted to show
Okay.
how. It's up to you. Whatever you want. But
Well, we should get more
I-
copies before we
yeah.
sell it.
sure. So Patty does really great things with upcycling fabric, plastic bags. So where you might think this is wicker or hard or scratchy, these baskets are super soft and very versatile. I keep my pencils in
I need
this.
a ring holder.
Oh, look at this, how beautiful it is. So these are both opening at 5, these baskets. And you have to touch them. They're so beautiful.
You insist.
So those are by Patty, and they're both opening at $5. Those baskets in
Patty just does amazing things with
and
things.
everything. Okay, Rich, can we put you in? Is the buffalo ready to put in?
It's almost like a wasp nest on it.
Yeah.
Susie, they call one wasp basket.
Yeah,
I'm
can you
trying
turn
to
that light off?
differentiate them.
Wasp nest.
Wasp
Wasp.
and
This one
flat.
looks like a wasp nest if you hold
It
it upside
totally
down.
does.
And
Yeah.
the other one would
I put
be
it up with my wasp.
Flat.
the honey pot. You know, like-
I'm so sorry that
Is it
I'm
you?
The Sky's ring basket.
What? No,
So
that's
I'm
okay.
buying it.
And so you like to
I would like to-
put on there?
I'll bet you.
Kayla, can you hit that kitchen light just for a second?
Thanks, Nick.
So this is my buffalo.
Here, you
Ah,
gotta
that's my
show
face.
the people here.
Show the people here.
Show the
There.
people
I
here.
need glue in the
Okay.
eyes.
And
Oh, this is so great, Rich.
can you hold it for a second?
Can I talk about what you painted on first?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This was in a movie, but this is fun for me because sometimes I'm a little stingy with this stuff, but this time I gooped a whole bottle on it. So if you have a black light, I really want to stress you do not have to have a black light to own one of these paintings. But if you have a black light, it's sure fun to have your black light on when you're listening to your Led Zeppelin records. And I
Or your,
wholeheartedly inspire you to get I'll buy you a turntable if you
or
don't
your
have one. What?
River Troll record.
Right, or your River Troll record. But then there's a moment when you're ready to go to sleep, and this is what I love: is that moment where the lights go out and it just sticks around for a little while. So it has to work independently on its own. Without the black light, I like when it works with the black light. And this is just it's just fun. There's a novelty factor to it that I'm trying to kick. Like I think I've been really, Sandra, I almost ran out of black light paints, and I was like, because I got this like box of oils in the back too. Like I'm actually a real painter sometimes, and I was dying to get. And here's the problem with my oils, right? I got a box of gouache, and I love gouache, but it dries out. And I got another box of acrylics, and those dry out slower. And my oils will last forever, but these black lights are so fun. So it's like I wanted to get to my oil paints, but
Somebody might have given you a gift of more.
oh no, I love them. Don't get me wrong. Like, and these are actually Sandra bought me some really nice quality paints, so they're really nice. But the novelty factor for me that I get to play with the 3-dimensionality. I also have like about 6 paintings there that are all black light that I'm going to show after we put up this show. But that's I don't even know why I started. Oh, Jess was
What's your
in.
opening bid? Oh.
Yeah,
What's your
very
opening bid, my love?
Oh, can I just show one more thing?
Yeah.
I have this funny centaur. I had 2 paintings this summer,
Oh my gosh, I love this.
and
I also love this one.
It's so good.
I have to tell you my problem with this piece is I really want that canvas. So I might paint over this, but
No.
if you can
Rich.
see my there's all these crazy skulls and
Look at
goblins
the
in there.
hands at the bottom.
And also like the sauciness of this painting that I was just imagining like this cute damsel and her boyfriend the centaur, and I was painting it and painting it and painting it. A few weeks later I looked it up like this is there's a story about Catherine the Great. It kind of goes along with
Quite the story.
the mechanics of when your boyfriend's a centaur. But
So relatable.
So relatable.
what I actually love about this painting has nothing to do with any of the glitz. It's just this kind of noir moment right here. And so my subconscious is waiting for everybody to turn around so I can just tear this piece out, restretch the canvas, and reuse the
What's
form.
your opening
She
bits?
looks like an elf.
She is
for
so
which?
elvish. For the buffalo first, and then the centaur.
Let's just talk about the buffalo. for
buffalo.
now.
Okay.
My opening bid for this piece here is $5. And I gotta tell you, this structure with the graffiti in the background was in a movie. Are we allowed to say Brian Austin Green?
No.
We get hired to do some artwork for movies sometimes. All the desks in here came from Ghostbusters. I won't tell that story again this week because I told it last week, but there's a whole nother teacher funny story about everybody thought I stole a classroom set of desks from school. And but these were in a movie. We loaned out our artwork. I was lucky. That's why those pieces there. I was lucky enough to get all the graffiti pieces back. And so now I've got these lush backgrounds to paint into, and they're quite easy for me
Well, it's
because
just
I've
such a
got
great
the
background.
structure in the background, and then I just block out a section and have at the end. So I love this gold buffalo, and I have a relationship with buffaloes, and I hope you do too.
Can I
What kind
bid
of relationship?
25?
When I was a little boy,
I bid 25 cents.
I love buffaloes and magpies, so that's why Jess has a magpie on her arm. But I also had this
50.
ferocity
50.
that I picked up from Cool Hand Luke. And it was, has anybody seen Cool Hand Luke?
He's got such a cool hand.
Cool Hand Luke. I fashioned a lot of myself out of fiction. If I needed to be cool, I'd think, what would Steve McQueen do? If I needed to be wise, I'd think, what would Muhammad Ali do? If I needed to be, there was people I went to for inspiration for who I would shape myself as. And Cool Hand Luke made a lot of sense to me. Like, you know, if you're going to make me do 10 push-ups, I'd do 50. And what I loved about this is it was a story that made perfect sense to me. That I think it's a story specific to Indigenous people. I believe it traces to the Blackfoot people of Treaty 6. Is that correct? Blackfoot Treaty 6?
Laureen bid 100 for the buffalo.
And the story is,
Laureen.
in a
Thank
storm,
you, Sandra.
all animals, you've heard this? In a storm, most animals will sit or take cover. But are you okay?
I just about died.
Oh, that's
I
okay.
kept going this way.
You're alive now.
Yay!
The buffalo will run into the storm, and by that they end up passing through it. And that's basically that's my branch of the autism tree. Is that if I had a challenge that terrified me, my instinct was to just dive into it. And so when I heard that story about the buffalo, it made a lot of sense to my connection.
So beautiful.
That is really
$100 going once? Did she say $100?
100. Yeah.
$100 going once, $100 going twice, $100 going 3 times, and you have 10 minutes to outbid Lori.
120.
120.
There is kind of a friction that happens sometimes between friends. So, Lori, we don't know who's bidding on that, but
So the buffalo is currently at 120 to Hilda.
I found this on the web.
well, thanks, Siri.
Thank you.
You guys want to know something funny?
Yeah.
So, like, I teach phys ed this year. I'm not a
You're
jock.
the cutest gym teacher.
I
ever.
am. And so I split my classes into like athletic kids and then kids that are like struggling to have fun. And I probably spend most of my time with the kids struggling to have fun. And it's nice because sometimes me and the other phys ed teacher will have 2 classes at once, and we can take all the athletic kids and put them on one side, and the kids are struggling to have fun on the other side. Actually, turns out a pretty fantastic phys ed teacher for kids that are a little bit on the not coordinated side. And today I had to make them run.
Oh.
And the thing about making kids run is they learn to hate running. So I wanted to make running not painful.
Yeah.
And actually pretty great at coming up with ways to make.
Did you chase them?
No.
Oh.
Zombie run.
I got rubber chickens, and I put them in groups of 4. And we just did. We took turns running relay wraps around the field, and they could go any speed they wanted. But they basically did like a relay, where one would do a lap and pass the chicken on. And there was a whole kinds of social organizations that grew out of it. So basically, as a team, they would count how many laps they got done.
Yeah.
And kids that didn't want to run were like negotiating with kids that loved running.
Mhm.
And it wasn't gross in any way, but the kids that loved running were stepping up for the kids. And the kids that didn't love to run, all they had to do was move.
Oh.
And so the kids that initially said they didn't want to run, I said, all you need to do is move. And because their team was waiting for them, they all ran. And because some of them didn't want to run, but ran for the team, their other team members stepped in front of them and asked if they could run for them. And the culture that was developed, it's funny because you can invent something fun like this. You're really expecting it to work 2 days in a row, and it never does. But it was magic in both classes today. We had a fun day.
You're such a good gym teacher.
Chicken relay,
Rachel,
rubber chicken relay.
I have so much love for you.
I know.
Rubber chicken relay.
You're a good teacher.
Oh, and they
Such
love
a
to
good
play. They
person.
love to play
Yeah.
dodgeball. So the last class, there's the 3 sports I'm supposed to take them through it right now. They've got to work on skills, and they got to work on the sports that are in season. So they're just crazy about dodgeball. And what I said was, we're going to play dodgeball, but you have to use volleyball skills. So they were able to serve the dodgeball at each other, bump and set forward pass. You can't say bump anymore.
How do you guys know how to find the link to the event page? Because someone's looking for how to find the discussion, because I always post the photos on
I
there.
can
Do you know
find it and
do you know how to post it on the live feed or in the comments or even text
I'll
it to me?
find it and post it in the thing.
Sky, thank you. I don't know how to do that.
I remember looking for it once.
Because thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. You're a beautiful person. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's not my
But
story.
thank you for
I'm not
existing.
sulking. I don't sulk.
No, I'm
Do you
saying
want me
like
to do
thank you.
Go to the Rumble House page on Facebook.
Yeah, go to the Rumble House page on Facebook.
Click on the drop down that says more.
Click on the drop down that says more.
More Rumble House.
Click on events.
Okay. And-
Click on the Rumble you want to
538.
cut art from.
538.
It'll say check in going. Scroll down a little bit. It'll say about and discussion. Click on discussion.
Click on discussion. Thanks, Sky.
I'll also post the thingy.
You're
on the
amazing.
thingy.
So we try to post the items on the page so you can scroll beforehand, but it only works if you can find the photos. I apologize. And thank you for asking. This is by Amanda. So this is Alvin's sister. So lovely koi, another koi piece tonight. So this is acrylic on canvas, and this is opening $30. Lovely acrylic on canvas by Amanda. So lovely. And text 403-629-7424 if you would like to bid on this or any of the pieces before. You can also ask for some pieces if you're curious about pieces that you saw. This is another Rich Teru. This is a really great one for a few reasons. One,
What is it?
it's a collaboration between
yeah,
you
yeah.
and your daughter. So Robin lives in London. She did the background when she was in town this summer, and we were talking about the chimeras and about
Can
the.
I just add something to that?
Of course.
I have 3 paintings that I painted this summer. They all got like $500 offers, and Robin wanted to take one of them back to England, and she went back to England without any of them. So this was a collaboration.
Yeah.
She asked me to paint her as a centaur. That one there was the one she wanted to take, and then the other one with the bike right there. And so, each one of these paintings, strangely enough, like sometimes you paint a painting and it just when it's fresh, it has a different energy. So I kept getting offers for these, and then they've kind of been kicking around. I'm gonna paint over them soon.
Do you need me to help you with those? Are those
I'm just trying to do something, and
No
it keeps dinging in my head.
bitch.
I know. No, and don't take that the wrong way. It's just that my problem is the camera. Is the sound working now?
I've got the.
Can you hear me
Wi-Fi
now?
Full volume.
So no.
Sky, can you hear?
Oh
Sound is
yeah.
working now. Full volume.
What
I
an
can hear you
awful
now.
voice I have.
No.
I'm so nasally. How am I supposed to concentrate?
What was the starting bid for Amanda's story?
30.
Yes, there's sound. Yes, there's sound.
Hey, Rich, there's sound.
Thank you. No, I'm just getting like I asked the question, is there sound? And then I got a bunch of
Just letting you know if there's sound.
So this is by
what happened with our oh yeah, okay. We have a family habit, and like Felix is 10, and you met him tonight obviously, but even when he was 3, he just had this grip of a brain. And so I showed him Who's on First when he was 3 years old, and we have these old videos of Felix doing Who's on First. So, like he understands the concept, so he can adapt. But we've been doing and variations of Who's on First for 10 years. She just finished her book. It's alphabetical, and so she's kept me posted on what.
I'm on S. I'm
yeah,
on T.
Right. So on Sunday, we're getting ready to take Felix home, and Jess is like, I go, what letter on? And she goes, why? And I'm like, no, because I want to know what letter you're on. She's like, why? And Felix lost his mind because he was able to leap in and we could do.
It was even funnier because like people we didn't know were walking by the open door.
Oh yeah, she's
And
screaming.
then
She's
I was
screaming
like,
at us live.
why? And then they're like, what the heck? We had to explain the whole thing to them, and I don't know if it.
What letter were you on when I asked?
Why?
Because I want to know.
Why?
Because it would help with the story.
Who? Okay. So this magic stick
Magic stick.
is by Patty.
Of course it is.
There's carving.
Carving.
There is paint and resin,
And lacquer.
lacquer,
And there is blood.
and there
Is there blood? Where's Patty?
Semper.
Patty?
Only a little. Semper Admirari.
Something in Latin.
Is that Latin?
It's Semper Admirari Cursumus Hic, and it means why are we here?
I agree.
What letter are you on?
It's that quote is here on the stick. Why are we here?
Can I tell you why I think we're here?
Opening.
I mean,
is
it's not the only answer.
$40
But can I tell you why I think we're here?
To bring joy.
to love.
Because we have to move.
Gotta move.
Quite honestly, like I think like in a lot of situations, there's a lot of dogma in many cultures that ask us to not move. And I think it's easy to get sucked into that. I mean, actually, I don't want to offend the hockey fans, but I made a comment today because rent's going up. There are homeless encampments, and we're building a new hockey stadium. I just posed the question, like, how are we building a $1.2 billion hockey arena if the city is going to give $500,000 to students to be able to find housing.
I didn't want to interrupt.
No, that's totally fine. But and I love sports, but I do think that we need to move. And I think sometimes when the gladiators are moving for us and we sit in the seats, it causes, like, think about it. That's a line in my book. It talks about how when your team wins their sport, you should celebrate. But when your team wins their sport, people get up and they tip over dumpsters and light cars on fire. And that disconnect when somebody wins whatever cup they're chasing, and the city, right, when police know that a hockey team is going to win a cup and they fortify their own city because the people are going to tear their own city apart because they won the cup. I think personally that comes from not moving, from feeling the excitement of watching the game from the position of a couch. And I think, and it's an idea Galen and I had in the 70s, maybe for Galen it was the 60s, watching Star Trek, when you started wondering, maybe I'm just a molecule in a being in a bigger universe. It's a molecule in a being in a bigger universe. And it seems to me that every time we sit, there's incentive to move. And, actually it was a funny line in World War Z, of all things, where Brad Pitt, who worked for the NATO, would explain that in these crisis situations, people that move live. And I almost just wonder if our job is just to be particles. And when we sit still, we upset the masters. And so personally, I don't want to spread my dogma to anybody else, but I think our purpose in life is to just move, to be active and to interact and to collide,
yeah.
to affect each other,
So
to make contact.
yeah, the connection.
But to be inert, I think, is dangerous. And I think you need to be inert sometimes to rest and recharge. But I think the goal is to recharge so you can go back to moving.
Yes, I agree. It's a good night.
It's not bad. I talked a lot.
The bumblebee who doesn't fly doesn't pollinate.
Right?
Exactly.
I know, right?
That sounds like Rumi or like.
And Val Campbell gave an amazing class on authentic movement.
Yeah.
And there is no question, as somebody who loves dance and movement and all kinds of things, there is nothing that will get you closer to a visceral sense of who you are. If you get a chance to take a class with someone like Val or Val herself, when she comes, she's taught at the university for years. She did a beautiful presentation. And there are other teachers in authentic movement. Check it out.
That's really important.
Thank
Thank you.
Bad dancing, she so calls it. Like, she doesn't just move. Like, remember when you were a kid and it was like,
Play,
you
like,
just move?
yeah,
The music came
Like
on, you
the
see
silly
babies,
cats.
they like just start dancing.
yeah, totally.
The best choreographed
It's not
dancing.
about them.
It's about the feeling.
Everyone was looking at him out there. He's,
Yeah.
he's goofing off. I'm going, no, this is as good as it gets.
This is as good as it gets.
Yeah,
I love it.
smile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm out there having fun. Right?
Back to New York.
Back to the art. So, first of all, Scott K upped
We're
his
not even
own
really here for the art.
upped his own bid, and he bid $50 on the stick. Thank you, Scott. So next, this is by Kevin.
Is that a film camera?
Is it ever?
It's an
Oh,
IG
cool.
camera.
This is a instant camera, like my other. You're using Polaroid, right?
Opening is
So I switched
25
over
for
to
this.
Fuji. But this particular little monster also connects to my phone. So sometimes I print off Polaroids of Muhammad Ali, and it's pretty fun.
okay. So Kelly,
You're all in my family photo album because of tonight.
I think that one that you just pulled up with the sun is that's the one, black light. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. Quote me on me saying I might.
oh, hold on.
This one's blacklight.
I like stuff. I have
We
my
should
head-
throw up everything that's blacklight. This is the giant
Da,
test.
da. Oh yeah.
Oh, even the flowers on the wreath.
Actually, even the card.
So, okay, poor people at home. Okay, so this is by Kevin, opening 25. This is by Kelly. Hold on. Can you hold this? Also Rich's pants.
Rich's pants.
Dinah bought his shirt off of him one
I'll sell my
auction.
pants.
Yeah.
We're cutting it close this month.
Oh, the butterfly.
I actually hate to say it. I have usually about 5 pairs of pants going, and they go in stages where they get muddier and muddier, and then all of a sudden I'll just change my palette and they'll get really vibrant. And there are moments where I stop and I look at my pants and I think I have to take these off, cut out the thigh and mount them, and then something will happen and I'll change them up again. But there are, in the 10 years I've been here, probably 5 of my best paintings were my right thigh.
I love that. So this is Oakley. This is by
This
Kelly
one's also
Stanford.
Quite
Oh, this is by Jordan. Oh yeah. So Kelly wires all of her pieces as well. So this is Oakley on this beautiful wreath. It's opening $60 and it's UV, eyeballs glowing, the whole 9 yards. Can you just show that one again? So this one is by Jordan.
I think this one's partially night glow as well.
And opening $150 for this mixed media piece. So this is really well lacquered, like just shiny and
It's shellacked.
shellac.
Shellacking.
Oh my gosh, this one girl was doing this reading comprehension test today and was just like shattered when she realized that jelly beans had shellac on the outside, and shellac is made from bugs, and she just had a
The one
time.
behind you, Rich. With the
Whoa, these are $10
big
each.
one.
Oh,
This
is,
one is a special
Whoa.
story. Alvin, Alvin's in my book.
oh yeah.
Alvin had this piece, and it was a special piece to his heart. And it was up in the show. And again, this was the piece that don't stand up.
Yeah, I'm not.
When Alvin had this show up, maybe if you could carefully stand up, put the light back on. This is the piece everybody asked on, and it was the one piece he wanted to keep. And it's got 3-dimensional depth, so it's actually a relief with parts carved away. And the demand for this piece was just insane over the summer. And then as he was taking down the show, he had a change of heart and decided to put it up for auction. And he's just open to an offer. I know that he loved it. I know
It's,
that he's trying to
opening
let
is
it go.
80, but like you're saying, it's
I think he said
yeah.
he'd even come down. Maybe so we're starting the bidding at 50.
So bid super high.
But I know he's moving, and he thought it would be a good idea if he separated from this piece. So if you're interested in that piece, it's
80.
available.
80.
80.
Oh,
Nice,
that's
thank you.
amazing. It has so much depth to it. There's carving.
It's
There's
gorgeous. If you look-
Yeah, it was the piece he couldn't separate from, and then I think that we have these relationships with pieces sometimes, and they're sometimes not ready to go, and
There's
sometimes
an N64 in there. Honestly, so cool. So this is
is what sorry?
That one black light?
This, I don't think this is blacklight.
I saw a little bit of the hat light up.
so
That's why I'm wondering. Standing in front of the
No, I
backlight.
think this is like I was actually. Let's try it. Sorry.
but
Oh yeah,
I
I
mean,
think so.
there
He's
is
still standing
currently
in front of it.
It's buttons.
And
A
his
lot of-
hat, his button.
oh yeah.
Back of the light.
Oh, it is, yeah, and that is intentional. I was going to say that it wasn't if there was black light, but specifically that the bike lights and the reflective things that he'd be wearing. So
And his neck a little bit, and just by his.
Maybe
ear
he's
a little bit,
glistening
and
with
his nose a
sweat.
little bit. There's also a vein there that also glows.
The blue in his skin is so beautiful.
He's low on oxygen.
Oh my gosh, this is so like so cute. It's like 1920s like
Art Nouveau.
Art Nouveau. So fun.
This is my giant F.
The
Did
one
this
from the
koi go up?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't be coy with me.
So this is by Alox.
Hey, look.
So I was
Wouldn't it be
asked
funny after all this time if his name was Alex and he was just messing with us.
I
I'm pretty sure his real name's Alex.
I was asking him about his hieroglyphs because he called them hieroglyphs, and we were talking about asemic writing. So if anyone knew Eileen, this is the first time I ever heard it was from Eileen. She's a violinist and she works a lot and in abstract painting too. Sorry, I cut myself off. She works a lot in abstract painting as well, and so she first taught me about asemic writing in her paintings, and so I thought it was really interesting. It looks like just something so magical about this piece.
Oh, wait a
And
minute. I
so
know what this
it
says.
means,
Rich
it-
is a
asemic means there
dick.
is no meaning.
Just kidding.
But also on the inside, it's okay. So it it says fuck hope, which I was like, Alox, like why would you say that? And then he was talking about how as soon as you have hope that you can like falter and really get hurt. And I was like, it
He's
really
actually-
makes me sad.
Okay,
like,
so first of all,
So sad.
I'm just gonna
real.
speculate. Alox's real name is Alex. His other pseudonym is
Panda.
Panda. Some of his work you might see on your fence if you turn your back. And he's the sweetest. He's the one that was here earlier. He comes in and gives me these lectures that my Facebook posts are longer than a sentence,
long.
and they're too long because I can't read whole paragraphs. So, he is the sweetest guy, and he he's a big giant teddy bear that keeps himself guarded. I think when he says "fuck hope," what he really means is, and I honestly am interpreting this way, is I want somebody to love me.
Yeah.
So
always it is.
it. I'm not rewriting.
Maybe
what
that's
he
him
has.
saying nope. No, I'm just kidding.
No, because he never stays up this late.
It's true.
He always texts me the next day. He's like,
I was gonna
how'd I
say,
do in the
that
auction? I'm
would
like,
be
why don't
so
you
great
watch the
for
auction?
calligraphy class.
I-
You just can't open the box.
Just can't open the box.
Yeah.
I know. Would you be allowed to have this at school? I would pretend that I didn't know what it said.
Or just like cover it with a sticker.
I do have his piece at the front of my class that says freedom.
I'll tell you something kind of gory about teachers, and you are a teacher, so maybe you'll think this is funny, or maybe you don't.
Mhm.
I don't know why. Galen, maybe you've heard this. You're not the kind of person to say it, so I'm looking around the room to make sure nobody in the room's ever stumbled across this. But for 20 years, especially when it was still illegal, it's still illegal for kids to smoke pot, but for 20 years, I don't know what it is about teachers, but like maybe they have this idea that they might be perceived as square. You'd get like this teacher, I shouldn't even just say it that way, but they'd always be like, I smelled on the kids marijuana and I know what that smells like because I went to university. And we're all like, dude, you don't have to flex so hard.
We all went to university.
And the funny thing is like, I would have never done that. I would have never said, I would have like, I don't know what pot smells like. How would I know what pot smells? How do you know what pot smells like? Because I went to art school, right? Like,
You
And
definitely
nobody
don't.
who ever
These
has made art.
you got
has
a
never done
contact
any
high just getting off the
substances.
train, you know? So
This is also by Kelly, and these are opening at $10 each. They're little resin pieces, so also UV reactive if you to mount on the wall or anything. They're really beautiful colors. Yeah.
Was there an opening bid on the box?
$50. No,
$14.
it was.
I can tell you from the
sorry,
shape of this box that it's musical.
I can tell you from the shape of it that it's rectangular.
on the thing now. My brain's faltering.
Because it's a 1 to 1.6 ratio. It's the same shape as a cajon. It's the same shape as all
Just gonna
your
look it up
your
on that.
speakers. And the Cubans made a cajon out of a box this shape.
What's
And
that
it
on
was,
the back? On the bottom?
Oh.
Is it signature?
I think it's his signature.
It's very Pandora's box.
yeah.
Totally.
And to be even more, you could open it and play it
There's
too.
inside, and according to the myth, they closed it before Hope could come out.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So in Pandora's myth,
Panda, yeah.
box myth, they open the box,
Yeah,
and
and all
all
of
the
the
bad things in the world come out.
yeah.
And in a panic, they close the box back in, and Hope gets trapped.
It's still there.
That's interesting because Panda made this box.
Yeah.
But he's also the one person that would insist that he doesn't read and doesn't like reading and doesn't like being around people that read. So I wonder how we would have known that story.
Or maybe he's just recreated, like
Connected
a
to the
great
universe,
myth.
yeah.
Like
It was
you just
$50 opening. Yeah.
Did you just text him?
No, I just had to
One
check on
question
the
that I've
online.
always wondered what that story is.
Andrew,
If
that's
hope is still in the
awesome.
box. Wouldn't that mean there's no hope in the world?
Yeah, that's exactly what that means.
Okay.
Hope
Oh,
is
okay.
by far my most important word. And it's all through my textbook. I was a dad at 23 and kind of surfed couches from 23 to 30. So I spent the better part of a decade either living out of my Jeep Cherokee or on people's couches. Sometimes I had to have an apartment for a while. But I remember I'd go through my sketchbook and there's two words that permeated my sketchbook. One was home, because I was desperate to have a home. And the other was hope. And I once sat down in a tattoo chair and I had the guy write stencil hope on my hand because I was going to get hope tattooed on my wrist. I just thought it would help me throughout the day. And then his buddy walks in. He's like, yeah, you didn't have a hard time sawing through that. And I realized how desperate it would have looked to have hope tattooed on my wrist because it's not what I meant. I just wanted it somewhere to remind where I could see it. But I remember looking at this guy. It was on the tattoo shop by my dentist.
Yeah.
And I looked at this guy and was like, when is too late not to get this tattoo? And he's like, oh no, you're under no obligation. And I was like, thank you. And I'm like, can I pay you for your time? He's like, no, you just go. It's cool. And I remember being so relieved that I didn't get hope tattooed on my wrist.
Said then to the person who came in and said, "Wow, that
Yeah.
was so wrong."
Yeah.
When it's wrong, it's wrong.
Scott K bid 50 for the box. Thank you, Scott K. Yeah. Yeah, totally. When it's totally. So this is also by Kevin.
Kevin.
Aurora Borealis.
Kevin's going to have a show soon.
Yeah, Kevin's gonna have a show, so there's just some different pieces by him. So this one's opening at 25 as well from him. And also Blacklight. And I wanted to show this one too. Really great, lovely acrylic. So I don't know if we're ready for snow yet, but it's really beautiful. It is so graceful.
That's so peaceful.
Oh,
Also
also.
graceful.
Also. So it's opening
That's so much
25.
room.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like, yeah, you can feel like, actually, I wonder,
Like the wind
can you show it this way again? I wonder if it's like,
is.
if that lights up. I wonder if it does. But you're right, it has. Actually, you know when it's so cold and this, you can see the sun, like rays. You
It
can
looks like a moon.
or moon, yeah.
I'm getting a totally different read off this, and I don't want to bring it down in any way. But I have such fun memories of this. Is this really reminds me of the set, which was actually a background scene. But in the, do you remember there was like a specific Hanna-Barbera Christmas special that had every, it was kind of called Yogi's Christmas special, but it had everybody. And I think it kind of like lingered on TV long enough that most of the characters had kind of moved on. Like the only time I really saw like that Droopy. Okay, never mind. But there's
Like
to me, there's a
Huckleberry
very
Hound.
nostalgic Hanna-Barbera background painting. And if you watch the old cartoons, they really put painstaking care into painting the backgrounds that stood behind Fred Flintstone or behind all the backgrounds frames were just really gorgeous paintings. That's what I'm seeing here,
I really like that.
which I hope is respectful because I think sometimes we don't always
it's
think
really
of like
nice.
cartoons as high art, but
They
I
were all
do.
hand painted.
I do for sure.
Yeah, like
I
the
remember watching
Sleeping Beauty
the
was
kids
so
Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. What is
What?
Maleficent? Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
So we watched the original and then we watched Maleficent. So
Yeah.
with my students to compare and contrast.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, the first one was kind of like the animation was like not what they were used to. So they were
Yeah.
kind of critical. And I'm like, you do realize they painted every single one of those
like
frames
movement,
by
but
hand.
yeah.
Disney did 24 frames a second.
Yeah.
Most your
everyone-
high-end cartoons did 12 frames a second.
They did.
Something like Flintstones, sometimes they'd have like 30 seconds of just flipping between two frames.
But they didn't realize that.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
You can
what
show
they
them
don't know.
Flintstones for that sake, because in a Flintstone scene, they would have a background and they'd have a layer with Fred's body, which may or might have one or two movements.
And they're
The
slightly
head would
different
be,
colors,
yeah,
right?
the head would be separate. And when you look at the screen, you could see, oh, the phone's going to ring because the phone would have a different,
color.
yeah, slightly more
Yeah.
vivid.
Yeah.
As it's sitting behind the sheets of Mylar, The base of the phone is on the
that's
background.
why.
And then there's a sheet and a sheet and a sheet and sheet. So if the phone's going to move, it's going to move because it's the plastic is sitting. I actually have a film on my TikTok that I did in the 90s, hand-drawn cell animation. One was called Cans and the one was called Professor Dink's New Head. Please feel free not to find that on TikTok and look. But they're hand-drawn cell frames. Like,
That's awesome. No, it's all good. So this is another piece donated back from Kathleen. So this is by Belinda Fireman, another amazing local painter. This is called Chapter 1. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a woman who wanted to tell everyone.
Belinda came in to one of the first Gorilla House, called them art battles back then.
Yeah.
Because one of my former students found out what we're doing, came by to see what we're doing from Facebook.
Yeah.
And turned out he was a plumber, and we had some plumbing problems, and he'd plumbed her house. Is that not the way to say it?
No, it's perfect.
A couple days earlier, and he's like, "Oh, you got to meet my old art teachers opening up this place, Gorilla House." Belinda Fireman was one of the first
That's
people
so
to come
cool.
into Gorilla House, and we just liked what she was doing. She said she could put up a show. She put up her show, and she had on the wall next to her show her artist statement. And Elijah and myself, we'd started Gorilla House because we never wanted to have to write artist statements again, and we read it, and Elijah's like, "This is a pretty good artist statement." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you got an artist statement?" I was like, "Not since art school." And he's like, "I go, do you got an artist statement?" He's like, "No, I haven't written one in a while." So we each drifted into our own studios because Gorilla House was also kind of a studio space, and I spent about actually 20 minutes thinking and not very long typing, and he spent 20 minutes just pounding away, and he came out. He was very like gothic and over the top, and he had a very brilliant artist statement where he just pushed and pulled and tore and ripped at the shreds of fabric of space and time to explain what his art was and why his art was. And the reason you have an artist statement is so that you know why you should have a grant. You should use the same artist statement for
Why you get a show.
why you get a show. What does your show mean? Why do you deserve $10,000 and the other artists don't? And all these reasons for having an artist statement. And mine was pretty simple.
I know the best art.
2013, my artist statement was one line. It said, "I'm the best artist."
Oh, so
And
cool.
so why should I have an art show? Because I'm the best artist. What's my art about? Being the best artist. And this is pretty cute because Bruce asked me one time, he called me up. He's like, "I'm asking some professional artists if you'll bring in your artist statements for this class because I'm teaching in a class on artist statements." I'm like, "You don't want mine." Because
If you want to read more about that, you can read about it in Stop Making Art and Die.
Another book.
is it in that book?
Yep.
You read my book.
I've read all your books.
Hey, Mike. Is that Mike?
Alex Neff just texted you, and
Yeah.
then I didn't. It's a long text. I thought it was a
Oh,
bid.
let me
So
look.
well, it's okay. I just
It's important.
okay. No, I know it is. So opening bid for
Where did
this
you
one
find
is
it?
20 in your messengers. No.
Messengers.
Messengers. Okay, so opening for this is $25. There we go. We also have these are all by Theo. So these beautiful little.
My cousin found this comic book I made when I was 16 called
That's
Chuck the
nice.
Superhero. It's 32 pages long. It's fully illustrated. It looks like it could sit on the shelf with, well, I mean, other than my
Some of
anatomy
them
was a bit,
are more abstract than others and have longer titles than others. I'm going to pass these around here. These are each $10. And if anybody at home is curious about anything, let me know.
$25 on Belinda's art.
Oh, nice. From who?
We have Belinda's vagina on our wall at home.
So Belinda does beautiful vulva paintings, and we have one on our wall. And it says trust right in the middle. It's really beautiful.
Are you taking off?
Sorry, can you
Galen's taking off. Big round of applause for Galen.
Yay!
Galen, I would think you've been to at least 520 of the 537 rumbles we've had. For some reason, Galen's been bringing pizza for us every Wednesday for 500 Wednesdays. And at $10 to $15 a pizza, I'm estimating you've spent around probably $6,000 on pizza. Don't tell your wife.
If you're bidding, you can just keep that one.
There's 6,000.
$10, right?
She, she doesn't mind.
I love how delicate they are.
What could you have spent that $6,000 on? You know, when I add up the time and energy and sweat equity, the art supplies, the electrical bills, the Wi-Fi, just the work we put in, it works out that Jess, Rich, and Felix, regardless of how we add it up, we could have bought 2 Mustangs and a Camaro for what we put into the space. But just evenings like this are worth way more than 2 Mustangs and a Camaro.
So Kelly bid Kelly bid $25.
Galen, we love you.
It was Kelly that bid $25 on Belinda's. This is by Tawny. So on the topic of the rabbit, this was a really cool composition. Hide away your
Hideous.
hideous things. Look how
Kill the rabbit.
So many teeth.
I can't remember the opening. It's like, do you think like 25? Like there was
Different.
hideous fangs.
It is round.
You're right. So should we say $10 opening bid? So it gets
$10 to me.
$10, 25. So here, I show the people.
Kill the
again.
rabbit.
We can pass it around. This the detail. I love Tawny's work is so cool. And
Enriquitos?
oh yeah,
These look like the first ones are like different, Theo.
I know they're very different. Those
They're
ones.
not very.
So those are $10 each. If people do,
It's
so
like-
that you want to see any of these. This
And
is
then it's
by
very Theo.
yeah, right.
All of a sudden.
So this is Theo Nelson. Is your person. Oh, and I'll give you the other one.
Terrible, scary.
Sign your full name on
Oh, definitely I will.
Yeah.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
So this is by Enrique. This is another donated back piece by Chris. Donated it back. This is by Enrique, and he is currently working out of Florida, just doing amazing things. So again, like there's so many stories we could like.
We can't
I feel
tell you
like
all
we
his
told
story.
so many stories tonight, but there's still so many to tell. So the opening one of this is $10 as well. This is the. Oh, actually, here. This is a. So
Ooh, a rock.
in terms of Theo. In terms of Theo, this is a small framed one, and Theo's actually going to be having a show here. So Theo, this one is opening at 50, and it's called Strange Sky. And so this is a small framed version, one of his. And so he has pieces that he donates. He has pieces that he sells for a lot more. He's going to have a show later in the year of his studio works. And so this is one example of a framed studio piece. So this is the same artist as this one. So that one's opening $50 framed. So we had a good conversation with Theo. Hey, like the idea of studio work and framed studio work on the wall, and then the idea of pieces that we do for the auctions. Like
I
the
got
2
studio
hours.
work over there.
So that's exactly it, right? Like studio work and the 2-hour pieces. So yeah, so beautiful. So there's different things. Okay.
We have lots of work, but it's getting late.
Yeah, I think.
It's 10:30. What do we got online for people join us? We got 7 people online. Maybe you want to just do a blast of showing things like very quickly.
Like more stuff or the stuff we already
Well, I
showed?
think we've done a good job of showing things. And
I think so too. I think.
what about Enrique's piece?
Oh, this one? Sure.
Was the other one that was paper? I missed that.
Oh, that one was $10 for Enrique. So
Saucy bum smack.
saucy bum snack.
This is something Enrique I have it in common because I've been putting
Bum smackers.
Yeah, we are bum smacks. I've been putting my handprint into my paintings since I was. I'm sure I did it in art school at 17, But it really took form when I was 23 and I got my first motorcycle. I put my hand on the back of my helmet, and I was leaving my hand everywhere. And so this is actually pretty sweet that he does it for a different reason. Enrique has one hand's gone, and so his other handprint is, and a lot of his narratives will have the story of the hand not being there, or the hand being there extra. But I always left my handprint for touch, and it was actually something that started when I sort of moved away from my passion for. I had a maybe a 1 or 2 or 3 year passion for spray cans. I really loved the aerosols. Too much Welcome Back Cotter, I think, when I was a kid. But Richard Halliday said something to me that really corrected my vision of spray cans. Is I liked the aesthetic, but I always felt there's a thing I couldn't grab from it. And Halliday had said to me that, well, one of his concerns with spray graffiti or spray cans, aerosol cans, was that you're not making physical contact with the work. And that explained actually what that gap was for me. So at that point, I think, okay, so that would be around 19 that I gave up on the, well, also had developed an allergy because I was really overdoing it. But as soon as I decided that there needed to be the touch, I started putting my handprint in almost every painting I've ever done. There's a handprint stashed in there somewhere.
Either by accident or on purpose.
Whenever my hands get messy, I'll put my hand into the paint, but I will even to the point where I'll just paint my hand and stick it on the canvas. It's just a very old throwback to one of my go-tos.
Where's the signature?
This one? Oh, that's not me. That's
okay.
Enrique. But I was saying he also uses the handprint. And I believe, is this a self-portrait of Enrique?
No, Andong painted.
Oh, this is Andong's painting of Enrique.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Really powerful piece. And
So those are $10 for the one set and $10 for the heart. So that's a set. Those
okay,
are a
these
set.
are
Yeah.
these Kelly?
No, those are from Jordan.
Oh, it's like the vinyls. Newer technology.
I really like this one so much. Am I getting them in front of the camera?
It is hard sometimes.
And I think I just became friends with Jordan on one of the social medias. Because I loved the earnestness in which Jordan was sharing.
So this is by Carrie. This is $100 opening bid because Carrie loves it, but also is open if anyone else loves it as much as Carrie loves it. Is there multiple eyes on that one? You can't really see it on the
Their skulls.
little
It's a
eye
death cap.
on the. Is it?
There's skulls on the mushrooms?
But underneath, like on the body of the mushroom.
Yeah, there's eyes on the,
On the body. How do I explain that?
the base.
And a little mouth.
On the body.
And there's also
Okay.
eyes on each of the skulls, which I kind of thought we were having the same conversation, but we weren't.
It's a death cap. 'Cause of the skulls.
On the topic of how awesome Theo is,
Yo,
circa 1988.
that does look like an 80s Theo.
80s Theo.
Jesse was pooping in diapers when
I was not even a twinkle in anyone's eye.
Sure you were in the divine sphere.
Here somewhere, yeah. Oh, look how. Oh,
The flat earth.
opening $10 for Jen Stinson's beautiful
2015.
piece. 2015 vintage.
Isn't that weird that 2015 actually was?
You know what's weird? This one is from the late 1900s.
I'm a.
Does that make you feel?
That's horrible.
That's horrible.
June 2nd, 1988.
This
Why
is-
would you say
What was
so?
I doing? What grade was I?
From the
I was
20th
just
century, guys.
starting high school.
This one's from the 20th century.
For the Olympics in Calgary.
I lived.
Oh, because the kids say that at school, the late 1900s.
I was working on a
Mind blowing to them.
Horrific.
Horrific. This is by Bethany, opening $10. So Bethany recently moved
What? To where?
Lethbridge.
I hear
Oh, that's so
Velvet
far.
Underground.
Bethany's so nice.
Stephanie, Bethany.
so sad. I know. But
Whose
so
stork
beautiful.
is that?
This is Christina's.
Whoever wants to buy it.
I think it's a crane.
I totally snatched that out of your hand.
No, it's okay.
It feels like
No
Autobahn.
water- What did we say? It was
Shorebird. Heron.
a
Crane.
shorebird.
Shorebird. It's called Shorebird. $15 opening
Are
bid.
you positive?
I'm sure.
Word?
I caught onto that one.
Burnwood.
This is
A
Earl
pugilist.
pugilist boxer.
That's
Jean Rambel.
so well done.
People at home are like, what are you
$50
doing?
for the box. We got that already.
Yeah.
Right. Scott says June 2nd is his birthday.
Oh, was that from one of the was that from one of the
Happy, very,
Theo's?
very late birthday, Scott.
Oh, Jessica. I'm
Was-
going to tell you
Or
it's your
very
job to
early.
check that phone.
I
It's
just- I
stopping
did.
again.
But did I say June 2nd? Is it from Theo's painting?
Yes. Yes.
Hey, it's your birthday painting, Scott. Birthday painting for Scott, except for maybe not 88, but June 2nd.
One of my kids came into school today, and she just turned 16.
That's
And she's like, "It's my birthday," and so I played.
happy
No, I
birthday.
played 16
Lisa.
candles.
Oh, that's cute.
I just turned 20 something on September 6th.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Merry birthday.
How much? How much? How much
For the Theo? How much, Rich?
for the birthday painting?
Is that the June 2nd one? Yes.
June 2nd. Okay, I will tell you that generally Theo's starting bids are 40 or 80. I think this one's 40.
Yeah.
And if it's not, I'll make up the difference to him.
Yeah.
But the other thing is Theo donates 100% of what he sells here. He's collected his work his whole life. We've watched his whole life unfold before our eyes. He's got paintings before Jess was born. He's got paintings from before I was born. He started painting in the 60s, and he's been holding on to all his work. He frames most of it, and then we've watched it unfold before our eyes. And I think, to my shame and horror, I think we showed his work for 6 months before we really clued in that we were seeing his life pass before our eyes. So never once do I ever miss the opportunity to stop and notice this is Theo's whole life. And he donates all of the money to the gallery, but it's important to him that this starting bids usually started around 40 because it's the value to him. What else do we got?
Oh, you want more? This is really cool.
Oh,
I love that one. $10 opening bid.
Awaiting just a random art bid starts at $10.
So yes. So Scott, you have the stick, and
Did somebody bid on this crazy rabbit? Killed a rabbit. And you need to think about rabbits for the next few weeks too,
I will.
right?
I'm
not sure if I'm ready for that one on Jesse's leg, but it's actually not bad. It's not a bad.
I love it.
I love it. I wouldn't be mad about that, but yeah, fair.
back piece.
Love all of it.
Killed a rabbit.
Sorry, I'm just confirming with Scott because he said sorry. Okay, I think. What else? Sorry, we do have more. There's just more Theo. Should we pull up more for next
Are you going?
next week?
I'll pick up my piece.
Oh.
Okay.
I'll pick it up.
Are you sure?
I'll bring them.
Hey, this might be a lot to throw at you all at
Wait.
once, but did Justin
Wait.
tell you we do
Wait.
figure drawing on Thursdays?
I did.
That you do, yes.
Yeah.
I have
Also, if you model with us, you draw for free.
Do you want to take the buffalo or you want to pick the buffalo up next time?
I think
I'll carry it out.
That's nice. Okay.
It was very nice.
Well, you have the host, so I might as well tell you that.
So Scott,
I'm just outside. Oh, you have seen
it was so nice seeing you.
Have a great night, guys.
Good night. So Scott bid $45
I'm
on
just running out
the
of
Theo. I am so sorry. I just keep passing things to you. No, you're perfect. Okay. You are awesome. You are awesome. Look at all this awesome stuff. Did Sky just become part of the scarf?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And it's
Okay.
on, he's the last one I think who did.
Oh, he didn't. Sometimes he just puts
It's
scarves
just one
on.
with the.
Yeah, he's
You
one
have
with
a
all
hat
of the
like that,
scarves.
you can- I don't know why he's walking around without.
Right? Honestly. All
I
right.
have the cutest story.
Because I walked up to you, you said the Theo 1988 one
Yes.
is,
45 just got.
I have the
Scott with the
cutest
K
story.
again?
Is
Yeah.
but not
Felix
Scott
has
with the K, Scott
wired
with
it.
the K.
Yes.
It's not
Felix has wired into his brain this protection urge. So you can imagine like he was like 3 years old or 4 years old, and he was already riding his bicycle quite a bit. We got in the elevator and there's another family that came in with a bike and a kid but no helmet. And I saw Felix's like lips moving and he was just like, and you could see he was talking to himself about this isn't my business, don't talk. This isn't my business, don't talk. The door opens up. We were going down to the parkade. The door opened up at ground level. The father and the son go out the door, and just as the door's closing, he couldn't stop him. He was like, "You should be wearing a helmet." And so right before Jess broke her arm, her wrist, she decided not to put her wrist guards on, and she fell really
We
hard.
were just going around here in a circle, and I was like, I don't need to put my wrist.
She fell
guards
really
on.
hard and broke her wrist. This is years ago, and Felix was pretty in shock. So we were all roller skating, and I was like, "You're gonna sit there." I pulled his skates off. I put him in the car. I carried her to the car. We were about to drive him home.
Thank
The
you so
weekend's ruined. Felix is like bolt right up in the car. And he's just sitting there, just like, "Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it." And all of a sudden, he's just like, "Should have been wearing your wrist guards." And
It
I was going
was
to tell you
the
the story,
funniest
Scott,
thing.
because Felix is so earnest, so incredibly earnest. But we're like sitting around the other day. I think we were walking and we saw a vape on the ground. And he's like, "Dad?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "When we were at the Blues Fest," I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I think there's somebody at the gallery who's got a funny name. I think is it Sky?" He's like, "Yeah, Sky." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "So when I was selling my wares," because he was selling like fans and things, he's like, and I was over by where the smokers tent was, I think I saw Sky vaping." I was like, "No, it wasn't Sky." But he's worried about you.
Oh.
Just in case you need a 10-year-old card.
Worrying about your
He just cares about you.
Yes.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was very careful not to tattletale on you, but he's a little concerned for your health. So just think about that every time you take a drag
Just
off
think
you.
about that.
You see Felix's face now, and you're like, damn it!
Well, that's why I quit drinking, as I wanted to be a better example to Oliver, and I wanted to make a point with Oliver. And then about a month after we quit drinking, we're just kind of sitting around. We don't even know that Felix. We assume he's not listening because he's 10, but he listens to everything. And just out of the blue, he's like, "Dad, I'm really proud of you for quitting drinking." And I was like, "I didn't even know you knew I drank." He's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that time you almost broke my arm roller skating." Like, that's not true. He did just break his arm, so I got to be really careful about joking. It turns out he's just so aware, and he was embarrassed to tell us that he didn't really like that we were drinking. He thought it was stupid, and then we stopped drinking, and they started opening up about like how dumb he thinks it is, and it's true, you know. So Jess and I just ordered our 1-year coins for fun.
Yeah.
And I mostly don't really need it, but I wanted it. And when Jess doesn't need her coin anymore, we're going to give our coins to him when he's older. But the first day of school, my new principal, he's just meeting me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to help with lunch?" I was like, "I'd love to." And then he's like, "Can I put you on blender?" I'm like, "Sure, I'm on blender." So I'm dropping the ice in the blender, and then I got to pour like whiskey, tequila into the blender. I'm out of drink in exactly 1 year. It was
Not
exactly
at
Yeah.
Well, whenever it was like
Yeah.
a staff party. It wasn't at school. Let's say that. And
It was not.
I
fun.
poured the tequila onto the ice, and it turned into a vapor because of the ice. But the experience of standing in front of this vapor wasn't like just smelling something. It was like this three-dimensional tactile force in front of me that wanted to dive into the blender and slurp up all the gas and
Everything.
it was tactile. You know when you made marshmallows into gum?
Yeah.
There was this weird force wanting me to have some tequila, and at the same time thinking, no, I just ordered a coin. And I started like manically laughing. I wasn't showing off or trying to draw attention to myself. I was just laughing at the ridiculousness of my brain being in two universes at once, and one wanted the tequila and the other was like, no, you got this. But it was
The
really,
proverbial on your shoulders, like the devil.
more like my insides split outside of me, merged with the tequila and didn't want to separate. It was more like that. And I remember just thinking, like, no, this is stupid. I just ordered a coin. When I say this is stupid, this is my thought process. I haven't had a drink in a year. Oh my God. And then I'm like, I could have one. I could just have one. And then the same thing happened at Easter. I hadn't had a drink in 8 months and nobody's looking. I'm just kicking around Jess's mom's kitchen. They have a full bar in the corner. I was like, Jess doesn't want to experiment just having a little drink just to wake the devil up a little bit. But I wouldn't mind sort of having that boxing match. Like, what if I could just have one just to see if it'd drive me crazy? Like, I kind of got it mostly like under the whatever. But so I decided at the table, and it was my idea to quit drinking, that not only would I quit drinking, but I would tempt myself once a year at Jess's mom's house. And I would just have like one little drink, just poke at the dragon, really. And I was thinking about it. I was like, well, when we quit drinking, we sort of cut back on drink for a while. So we started measuring the drinks, and what we realized is for a few years, we thought we're just having one healthy drink a day, but we're measuring triples out of singles. So when we had one healthy drink a day, it was actually 3 drinks. And if we ever dabbled in 2 drinks a day, it was actually 6. And the nights we woke up with headaches in the morning were, because we only had 3 drinks, but it was actually 9 that we're having. So on my way over to the wet bar, thinking like, oh, I'll just have one. I was like, well, one I'll barely even register. That's not much of a challenge. I'll have a double, and it's only once a year, and that's fine. And then as I started like working my brain around the double, it occurred to me that really every 365 days, a triple would be perfect because it's like 3 and 3. I got from not drinking to having a triple, and then I just decided not to drink it. But that was kind of the battle I was having when I was like cackling at myself, thinking how dumb I was to have ordered a little coin that says I'm 1 year sober while I was mixing tequila onto ice.
You were the tequila master.
Mm-hmm.
It was a weird, you know what? I'll tell you something else. For the last 10 years, I've always thought we'd turn this place into a nightclub. We thought, well, what Rumble House would shut down this space, take over another space. I've had my eye on a bunch of different spaces. We thought we'd have burlesque dancing, a nightclub, kind of a classy, maybe dress up place. Jazz trios. I've been trying to get my hands on a vinyl cutter so that if a jazz trio came in, instead of paying them, we could record them an album and send them away with a live recording. We had a whole system, and in the daytime, run kind of a daytime coaching university for like kids that are homeschooled. They could come in and get specialized tutoring, or so sort of an uncredited university in the day for drop-in kids and
Academy.
an academy. And it suddenly occurred to me like a couple weeks ago, I can't run the nightclub because I don't drink anymore. I won't know if the drinks are any good. So we have to modify our future plans because sort of been coasting on that one for a while.
Could make it a drive-by.
Yeah.
And make it cool.
Good, yeah.
Because
That's
also,
getting way more popular.
and we've been talking about like there's nothing, like record shops close down at 6. Libraries close down at, like all the cool
And I always
things
get a
close down so
hankering at
early.
10:30 to buy records.
Yeah, go and buy art supplies or go to buy, right? Like,
Well, me and Toko don't drink.
yeah,
I
So
don't
like
really either.
mocktails are becoming more of a thing.
totally.
Yeah, it's nice to see mocktails always on the menu now.
Yeah, I think it's good. See?
We might want to take it a step further. And by that, I just mean like were talking earlier, but I experimented with trying to be a vegetarian, and I found it didn't suit me. What I didn't enjoy when I was trying to be a vegetarian was eating like fake hot dogs.
Yeah.
I'd like to find a thing that's in that vein of where can you go if you don't want to get drunk, but maybe not making fake drinks. We don't know what it is yet, but we're kind of like heading down this path of like, maybe it's nighttime. Maybe you're going to go there and pick up the euphoria of art and music and burlesque, but somehow usurp that one part where you know the liquor's your
Yeah.
license
The
to
crutch.
print money.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I'm gonna sing you guys to sleep.
Are you? What's your sing?
Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Thank you, everyone, so much. Thank you.
I was
thank
going
you,
home
thank
and I
you.
realized I hadn't.
Oh, we knew you'd see you again.
I
You're
wanted
so
it. I
sweet.
just wanted it.
Oh, thank you so
And
much.
then I wouldn't have heard you.
Next
Next time we'll do it.
Yes, please. Awesome. Have a good night. See you. Okay, so we can figure out everyone's stuff. And
That's the thing. It's too loud. So this.
you are amazing. Thank you for your help. You got it.
That's the thing. It's.
You're amazing. Thank you so much.
So this is not okay, but sometimes this is useful. So there's nothing wrong with stickmen if they're proportioned right, and the important thing is that they have hips and a torso. Then your stickmen can be really useful in creating dynamic poses. I find I have a really hard time envisioning poses that I can't do, but say if I could walk on my hands, which I guess I can. I really love these kind of stickmen where I can find the shapes of things. But if you're fleshing out a figure, feel free to use your structure to create the images you want to make. I'm a big fan of learning the anatomy, so you learn all the muscles and all the bones inside. You have your skull and a neck. You need shoulders. A torso is a great idea. The hips, knees, ankles, feet, elbow, hands. Use your stick structures as an armature, the same way you would if you're sculpting something out of clay. Think of it as building a wire structure underneath your figure. I don't always use the stick figures, but when I'm having somebody throw a punch or something, I often will.